Morning. I've had folks for many months now say, Dwayne, why don't you make a cigar video? Cigars are seem to be a major part of who you are and what you do, and we'd like to hear more about it. So I'm going to make a cigar video today on actual cigars. Now, whether I follow up with this or not, I guess depends on what kind of feedback and reaction and traffic I get. Um, but So we're gonna do a cigar video. Let's start out with what is a cigar. Now, before we go any further, if you don't smoke cigars, have no interest in cigars, let me encourage you to stick around for a minute, okay, and go ahead and watch this anyhow. Not so that I can encourage you to smoke cigars. I would never do that. I would never do that. I have no interest in that. But the mere fact that you might learn something you didn't know, and when you come across somebody else who does smoke cigars, you'll come across them with a little bit more enlightenment and a little more understanding of what's going on. If we go through life just ignorant, what is it? Grumpy? Grumpy from Snow White? I don't know what it is, but I'm again it. Okay? There's better ways to go through life. So just stick around for a minute. Maybe you'll pick up something that you didn't know before that might be interesting. Okay? Not trying to talk you into cigars, but what is a cigar? Most people think it's just a big giant cigarette. It's not. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. You go on Philip Morris website, and their list of ingredients for their standard cigarette is over 250 ingredients. A cigar is a very, very old style, old product that's been around for centuries, and it's just tobacco. It's just tobacco leaves that have been cured. And it's put together in such a way. Now, when I talk about cigars, I'm talking about quality hand rolled cigars. I'm not talking about Swisher Sweets, White Owls, Black and Milds. Okay. I'm talking about actual, true hand rolled cigars. Okay. The ingredients, as I mentioned before, in a cigar is tobacco and usually fruit pectin. And the fruit pectin is just a little glue that they put on their finger to put stuff together. A a The things that I like, the things that appeal to me about a cigar are number one, the fact that it's been around for a long time. Number two, it takes a long time. Some cigars, depending on how they're cured and how they're done, some cigars, by the time you get them, from the time they're planted in the seed, the plant grows, the plant's harvested, the plants are dried, the plants are cured, the tobacco is put together, the cigar into a cigar, the cigar is cured. It might be 5 or 6 years by the time you actually get it in your hand. It's not some factory somewhere stamping this thing out. I like the fact that there are specialists, craftsmen, artists sitting at a table somewhere, choosing out the best of the leaves and rolling them by hand one at a time. Um, it's a craft. I like that. I like that to properly light and smoke a cigar. There's a way to do it that has to be done right. And if you don't do it right, you're not going to get the value out of it. I like the fact that it takes time to smoke a cigar. We live in a world that is all microwave ovens, Keurig coffee machines, and drive-through restaurants. I don't even get on I-35 anymore. I drive 2 to 3 hours out of my way when I drive up to my daughter so I don't have to get on the interstate because everybody's in such a hurry. Everybody drives so fast, everything's instant, everything's now. I like the fact that cigars are, it's contemplation, it's release of stress. Um, it's uh, it's just to sit down and do it right. I like the fact that they're complex. They're very complex. Um, there are a number of different countries who grow tobacco leaves. Here's something for you, okay? And the tobacco, the taste for a cigar, depending on the country that it's grown in, because of the soil and because of the climate, they taste different. If you're a coffee connoisseur and you go into Starbucks, you know that coffee grown in Sumatra, or coffee grown in Brazil, coffee grown in the Andes of Mexico, in the mountains, or in Colombia, they're all coffee, but they have different nuances and different flavors based on where they come from. And part of the joy of coffee connoisseurs is the difference, the nuances in the coffee based on where they come from. Cigars are the exact same thing. Now, a cigar is made up of three parts. Okay, you have the main filler leaves in the middle. Now, those will be of a particular tobacco. Now, let's say, for instance, those are made up of a tobacco that's grown in Ecuador. And then around them, you will have another leaf that wraps those together into the cylinder shape. Now, that leaf may be grown in Nicaragua. And then around that, you have the wrapper, and that leaf might come from Sumatra. And a tobacco leaf comes up and it has three layers. There's leaves here, a layer of leaves here, a layer of leaves here. Each is a little bit different based on where it grows on the stem. And they'll be different based on how long they're allowed to mature on the stalk before they're harvested. And then there's a difference on how long that they're allowed to age. And so it's different. And so there's vast nuances. It's not thumping a pack of cigarettes and sticking them on your mouth and lighting it and sucking it down in 30 seconds before you head on down the road and everyone tastes the same. It's totally different. And that appeals to me. I'll tell you something else that appeals. When I was a kid, my hair is I need a haircut. I went to get a haircut, said something the other day about I need a haircut. Mama said, no, don't get a haircut. I like your hair. When I was a kid, somebody shook their head and they said, you Southerners, because I was in Tennessee at the time, and y'all are all alike. And I said, what do you mean? They said, when everybody across the nation is going for short haircuts, you grow your hair long. And when everybody grows their hair out because it's the new thing and everybody's got long hair, you guys go buzz your hair off. You're just a bunch of rebels. There are not many people that smoke cigars as a rule. I like that. I don't like doing what everybody else does. I don't like following the deal. And I'm going to tell you something else that I'm just going to have to admit to. When society and culture stands up and says, ooh, that's nasty, ooh, that's bad, ooh, that's wrong, ooh, you shouldn't do that, it makes me look at it a little closer and say, I think maybe that's something I want to check into. So there's all of those nature and aspects of cigars that appeal to Dwayne. I think I just probably messed up the video thumping on my microphone. Sorry about that. They appeal. But setting that aside, the actual act of smoking a cigar is something that you have to contemplate. It's something you have to slow down, pay attention to, do it proper and right. Did you know even the smoking of a cigar has to be done right? So you have those three different aspects of the cigar, three different leaves, that unique flavor profile that the specialist was going for when he developed that cigar can only be achieved if the cigar is lit properly and if it burns at a very specific rate. Otherwise, the thicker filler leaves in the middle burn slower than the ones on the outside, and so you start burning one or two leaves faster than the other. They're not burning together and you're not getting that flavor. So you have to slow down and you have to contemplate. Cigars, you get good friends, you get guys sitting around talking, smoking cigars, and there's just a bond, there's just a brotherhood. It's just all of life just slows down and things come back into perspective. So anyhow, for what it's worth, that's why Dwayne smokes cigars. As for how to smoke cigars or different kinds of cigars, there may or may not be another video on that. It just depends on what kind of traffic and feedback I get here. Um, it's something I think we need to go back to the old ways. I've made entire videos on that. Men need to be men, and they need to slow down, and they need to be thoughtful, and they need to be careful, and they need to quit living a life that is stamped out, every single one, by a machine in a factory. They need to quit going bumper to bumper to bumper through a drive-through. Men need to step out of the pack, and they need to slow down, and they need to be contemplative. Cigars are one of the things that um, embody that. Embody that. Okay, this is Dwayne, Dry Creek Wrangler School. Hope that answered a question for you. And if you got more questions, feel free, and we'll get back to the horses. But I just really felt like I want to do that this morning. So hit the like button if you like it. If you got somebody else with questions, hit share and send that over there. And we'll catch you guys later.